So story view, and just double click on your slide
Okay.
to
So
get.
review.
Yep.
Wait, where the hell am
And story view should always be that first tab, so where you see all the.
I? New project?
Yeah, so that new project. I'm sorry. So you open up the new project, you open up in story view.
Okay.
Then just double click on the slide in the center.
Okay.
All right, so now when you have your little workstation, so I guess a couple things. One, at the bottom where you see this actual timeline, and so timeline, it's well, it's common, but it's not really something you see in PowerPoint the way it's structured here. But basically, not only can we like create objects, but we can show, or we can task them for when they show up or when they disappear or just when they do any type of interaction. So first, just go to like inserts, insert in the top tab, and go to shapes, and just pick any of the shapes, any of the rectangles or just anything you want. I'm gonna just pick this circle, and then I'm gonna just drag and draw it. Boom. So when you see it, you'll notice in the taskbar how it's like mine is actual 5-second taskbar. So you see how it completely covers from 1 to 5, where you see oval 1. So what that means is that when we actually play this slide right now is only 5 seconds long, and once it's done, then that's the end of the presentation. But before we actually preview it, on the base layer on the right side where you see this little properties, click that. And when you see that, when you see player features and player default, click that drag down and go to custom for the selected slides. And then select seek bar. Seek bar just shows you that little progress bar, so then we can, it doesn't really tell you the actual time specifically, but you'll at least see it go from left to right. So real quick, go to the top and press preview, and preview this slide. And so with your object, you'll see how this taskbar goes there, and it's only 5 seconds. And since we have this thing from beginning to end, of course, it's not really going to show much. So let's close this preview, and then go into that timeline with our oval or with whatever your object is. Just right-click it, and then you'll see something that's checked that says show until the end. Unclick that, and you'll notice that the arrow kind of went away from the farthest right of it. So what that means now is that if you put your mouse over the end point, you'll be able to actually drag it. So like you're seeing on my screen. Yeah. So let's drag it to about 3 seconds, to the 3-second mark, and then let's preview. So what's going to happen is that
Wait a minute.
you got it.
30.
Yep.
Alright.
So let's preview it, and what you'll see is that in about 3 seconds, the object will just disappear from your screen. Yeah. All right. Cool. And so exiting out of preview. So now 2 things you can do, of course, is that if you put your mouse in a 5-second timeline, you can actually drag it to extend the actual length of your slide. And then you can also take your oval shape, and you can either move it holistically, so I can actually move the entire thing. So here it will start at the 3-second mark, and it will last to the 6-second mark. Or you could again drag it one way, or drag it the other way to extend it. Okay. So then that's one thing, and then other thing then. So going back to the actual top tab and going to the animations tab. So it's insert design transitions and animation. So then you can also change how quick or how abruptly the actual slide appears or disappears. So if you go to this first one that says, right now it says none, but it's for the entrance animations.
Okay.
And they just go to just fade. So we'll have it fade, and then on the exit animation, we'll have it also fade. So now let's just preview it again quickly. So at some point, whenever your comes in, you're going to see a nice little fade, and then you're going to see it fade away nice and cleanly. So if you saw it on mine, same concept. All right. So then going back to the whole fade option, I mean, it's fade, but you also have like a bunch of different things as well. So for the fade and also for the exit animations as well. So this is what I use often. Typically, I just use the fade and the fade outs, but you know, if you ever want to get creative, you have all these other things. So then, last thing here is this add motion path.
Okay.
So just to kind of avoid confusion, I'm going to click on my object and I'm going to take the fade back to none. So no fade animations and no exit fade animations. Then I'm also going to take my object and I'm going to move it to the very beginning. And I'm going to right click it again and I'm going to go to show always. And then the last thing I'm going to do, and you might have to do it on yours, but I'm going to take my 11-second one to something a little bit shorter. So now that we've done this, click on your object again and go to add motion path. So this gives us a bunch of different options. But first let's just go to lines, basic. So what you're seeing is that as soon as this object starts, your object is going to go from where it is now to where that red dot is. That red dot is basically the end goal. So if you click on that red dot, you just click and hold it, and just move it wherever you want on the screen. So pretty much you're dictating where your object is going to end up.
Okay.
So just put it wherever you want, let go of it, and then just preview. Cool.
Got it.
Easy work, easy work. Now,
You can tell this stuff is really tedious though.
yeah, oh yeah, it can definitely be, you definitely got to be on your P's
So like,
and
you
Q's.
gotta like freaking
Mhm.
just for one slide do so much if you want to animate it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's definitely, and that's why it can be really simple if you want it to be, but if you want it to be complicated or more engaging, then you definitely gotta be more detailed. But like the more you do it, the actual quicker it gets, where it's kind of like, you know, muscle memory, not muscle memory, but it just picks up quicker or faster.
right.
But it's still a whole lot of different things. So very last sub part of this is that with that add motion, you see how it says duration. So basically that whole thing happened in like 2 seconds. Let's just try putting, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but let's just try, instead of 2, let's just do, well, it probably has to be 2. Like my actual timeline says 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to drag mine to about 10.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
so then instead of 2, let's make this about 8 seconds. And then let's preview that. So now you'll see, so, you know, and that could be 8 seconds, it could be 50 seconds, it could be however long or however slow you want it to actually come across. So if you remember that, I know I showed you this one e-learning a while back where I did for import-export, and I had that kind of NOV balloon blimp. That's pretty much all that was, yeah. So, and I had to go on just very slow from one screen to the other.
Cool.
So that's some simple.
Like with stuff like that though, like
Mhm.
when people request for you to create a course for them,
Mm-hmm.
they basically give you all creative
Yes.
control, right?
Yes.
So like you can add whatever you want,
Mhm.
and then okay.
Yeah. So it's I guess the actual biggest thing is just making sure like you don't get like too carried away with it, because you want it to be like with that blimp thing, like what I did at the very end of it, I had a little sign that said, you know, this way for the exam. Like the exam was off screen, like you had to actually drive your car that I created to all the way to the right side. So the actual balloon or the blimp kind of had a, I don't know what it's called, but whatever those balloons have, that like a little message paper thing, post or whatever, saying, hey, come this way for the exam,
Right.
to kind of like prompt the actual learner to actually, you know, drive their car, kind of be curious about it. So it's, you know, like you don't, if you just make something just to make it, then it kind of just becomes a little too distracting, and then the actual request might be like, okay, you know, why are you even doing this? So just trying to have like a purpose. So I guess the last thing then, as far as these basics, is that, so then with this object, with this thing called states, so right next to the timeline, if you click on states,
Okay.
so then, oh, actually this isn't giving me what I wanted to do.
So you can add
Mhm.
pictures too from online, or
Yes.
like you don't have to just add shapes. Like you were
Yeah.
talking about your little blimp or whatever.
Mhm.
You added that from
Yeah.
online, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that actual blimp I actually created. But
Oh,
in
okay.
theory, yeah, like you can, if you go to insert,
Mhm.
so digress, and picture,
Right.
and
Oh, okay. You
yeah,
just choose where it comes from.
yeah, I don't even know where any of my pictures are, but I know I have something. So yeah,
And then
anything.
they also have like a clip art, kind of like
Yeah, it's actually not.
within the system, right? Within storyline.
It's funny because unlike, because PowerPoint has it, but
Yeah.
as far as storyline, I haven't seen any self-made clip art. Yeah, so now of course they have those kind of illustrated characters for you,
Right. Yeah.
but as far as all those random things, then not so much. So
Okay.
that's unfortunate. But with this one, like same thing too with all the different animations and emotions. So you could basically make this move however you want. Now, what I wanted to show, it didn't show it with the shape, but it shows it with here. If you go to state, well, so do you have any pictures that you can insert?
Let me see. Because I took all my pictures out of here.
Yeah.
Whenever, you get in the whole
Hmm.
here.
Yeah.
But whatever, I'll add some tulips on here.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. Any
Dang, it
picture.
took up the whole screen.
Oh, well, in that case, you can definitely resize it. You already know how it's
Okay.
pretty much
They're
like
up
just
there.
the
Okay.
corner. Yeah.
Alright.
Cool. And so once you have your picture in a serviceable size, go to states. And then one thing you can do, the initial state, and this is just how they word it, normal is really their way of saying it's visible.
Okay.
But if you wanted to change it to hidden,
Okay.
then you could definitely do that as well. And then you're not going to notice it here, but if you were to actually preview it, then you would see that your object is no longer there, only because you have it hidden until you want to go back and change the actual state back to something else.
Okay.
So, and then there's also, so those are like the two default options, but if you were to go to edit state, so under your object or your picture, then you could actually do certain things, to that state, where you could pretty much create your own. So if you go to edit state and then you go to this first one that says create a new state, and then you can basically name it whatever you want. Like I'm gonna just say random example or whatever you want to call it. And so in this state, you can then go to, like, I don't know, I might change let me change the color. I might say, let me change it to like a red font. And that just go into to once you click on it, go into formats and then go into a recolor, or really any of these options.
I'm sorry. Where'd you go to change the color?
So once you actually click on it, you'll see your picture tools open up.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you just
And-
recolor.
Yep. Just pick whichever.
Alright.
Okay. And then just click done editing state.
Okay.
And then you'll see where when you click on the normal, you see how it is regular, but then you see its random example state too. And then when you see above it where it says initial state, so if you want the initial state to be the default visible, great, but you can click drop down and you can make it the state of your colored one instead.
Okay.
And so that right there from then on will be your standard state. And so what this does is that you can like create buttons where you say, okay, when you click this button, this object will change from this state to that state, or however you want to manipulate it. So or you can like add certain things to each state that kind of makes it so like a character might say one thing, but then you change his expression to something else once this happens, and not just simple state changing.
Okay.
But it's obviously easier to do this in application than to give you the hypothetical. So we're going to now create just a little human example using our illustrated characters, using everything we just went over.
All right.
So you can create a new slide. So just right click new,
All right.
go to basic layouts and blank. So I guess we're going to just create, let's get two characters, a boy and a girl. So let's go to inserts. Let's go to character, illustrated, and pick your girl and guy. Nah, you have to go back. Or honestly, you could also copy paste this other person if you want to, and then just change. So there's two ways, but for now, just insert twice. They actually made my guy shorter than the girl, which isn't bad. I'm not sexist, but I am going to make mine a little taller though. So, when you have each one clicked, or whichever one clicked, I have my guy clicked, you'll see the character tools and you'll see design. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go to perspective and I'm going to make him face my lady friend.
Character tools, and you want to what?
On the far left, you'll see perspective.
Oh, perspective, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And then same thing with her,
Right.
or something with my other character. I'm going to have her face my guy.
All right, got it.
Cool. And so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a little thought bubble.
Thought. Say it right. Thought.
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 Look, hip hop has ruined me. So, so I'm going to create a little thought bubble. So what I did, I went to inserts and I went to the caption button.
Caption.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I created the I don't want them to be thinking or talking. You see, I want them to be thinking.
Just want them to be thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me do that again because I was like, I don't want to do what I did last time and have them thinking.
Yeah.
And not talking.
Well, no, this time, yeah, we're gonna have them thoughts first.
Okay.
So do you have like a boy and a guy first? The way?
I have a girl first.
Okay, that's fine.
Because
Yeah.
girls run the world now.
Yeah. So we're gonna have my guy or your girl then talk. So you know how you have that yellow square at the last little small bubble that we can move?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just move mine to facing my guy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell my guy, and then it's just clicking on the bubble. I'm gonna say, or this is gonna be him thinking, should I say hi to her? Yeah. Okay. So now going back to inserts, and in the controls panel, so this is closer to the far right. Controls where they have the button options.
Wait.
So insert,
Okay, yeah.
controls, yeah.
Insert, controls.
And just click whichever button.
Okay.
And we're going to just create, and this is going to be below. We're going to create two buttons. So I created one, then I'm going to just copy paste. So just Control C and then Control V.
Okay.
So first button is going to be yes, as in he should say hi. Second button will be no. Don't even bother. Okay, so
How did you move both of them at the same time?
when you so if you ever want to select two things at the same time, you can just hold Control,
Okay.
and then it'll let you click multiple
Oh,
things.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but look what it did.
What happened?
Now I have like,
Oh, did you copy paste twice?
I don't think I did. I just did control and I moved it.
Okay, well press Control Z.
Control Z.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And now control and then drag, right?
Yeah. Control, or that's good, but put it back to where it was, and then Control, then click on the other one while you have Control. Okay, and then you can just drag it. Yeah. There you go.
I thought I did that earlier.
Look, I'm
Yeah,
not
I did
judging.
something else. All right, sorry.
So now we're gonna mess with if we were to tell him yes. So we're gonna and I remember how I said last time where I like naming things just to make it easier. So I'm gonna click on yes. I'm gonna go to the actual timeline, and I'm gonna right click where it says yes, and I'm just
It's not showing.
click on timeline and it says states. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
You got it.
What happened?
You got it.
Shut up.
So then click on rename button 1,
Okay.
And I'm gonna just call it just yes.
Okay.
And then same thing for button. I'm gonna just call it, rename it to button no. And that just makes it easier for you on the triggers panel. Trigger panel is on the right. We good?
I'm having issues. Alright.
So then you see on the actual triggers panel, right?
Okay.
So where it says yes, where it says add trigger, we're going to click on add trigger. So then we are going on the first one that says action. We're going to click on actions, and we're going to go to move. Move is the last one under common, right before you see media. I'm going to click on move. Then it's going to say, okay, well, move what object? So let's click on object. We're going to move our character 1, yeah. And for the path, we're going to use the line. And we're going to move them, and I think the rest did it for us when the user clicks yes. So let's click OK. So now, and you see how you see that little line motion right there? Well, let's code it. And
I was going to say, this thing's going to go to the bottom.
Yeah, we don't want that. We want them to go to our special friend here.
You're hilarious.
So, yeah, so drag it, and yeah, let's move them a little closer. There we go. There we go. And so then, now what we just did, self-explanatory. Well, once we actually click yes, or he's going to say, should I say hi to her, or should I say hi to him? If we say yes, then he's going to go over to our person. So then, what we actually want, we want him to actually say something to her, right? Right, you know, be a little friendly. So let's, before we actually do this will actually help us a little bit. Because one thing you'll notice if you look on my screen, if we go to any other panel, like transition or design or whatever, then the actual animation placement disappears. But if we go back to animation, that's when it shows back up.
Okay.
And so what I want us to do, I want us to create a speaker box now here, you know, that's going to be close to where we know he's going to be if we click yes, basically in his future position. But just to kind of help us be able to position that right, let's first go to view. And then when you see grid lines and guides, you can just click on both of those, and you'll see what it does to your screen, right?
Okay.
So then going back to animation, this one right here, like you'll see how it's kind of split into like 4 planes. It should let you be able to just click it and actually like drag it up a little bit, if you're seeing. So I kind of just clicked my, what is it called, my x-axis, I want to say that is.
Okay, hold on, let me try that again.
Yeah.
It's making me move my character.
Yeah. And yeah, make sure that character is not clicked. Yeah.
Clicked it and you did what?
And I just dragged it up. I just dragged it up to where it was pretty much up above your character's head.
Alright. Alright.
Cool. And now I kind of just did similar.
But why do you do that?
The only reason I did that is because like now when I like go away from it, so now if I go to like transition or I go to design or what have you, I know that this location is where I want my actual thought bubble to be, or my speaker bubble to be. Yeah. I know I'm not saying the right, my dialogue box. I don't even know what it's called. My thought box. I mean, that's kind of what we're actually going for here, but you know.
Yeah.
So once you do that,
Alright.
inserts, and again, you don't have to do the whole grid line thing, but if you don't, then you just be like kind of guesstimating and then going back and forth. But here, once you have a good idea, just create any size speaker box you want. I did the square one. Well, yeah, I'll do the comic book one.
Okay.
And then just kind of click and drag your box in the location that you kind of set for it.
Alright.
And then you can go back to animation. When you go back to animation, click on the red endpoint to see your character again.
Okay.
So now it's kind of guesstimation where you want to go back to your box and you kind of want to just do like a little estimation to see whether you can time it right. And if you ever want to check, just go back to that red placement and just click on it, and you'll see where your projected character will be. So. So where mine is, so yeah, I feel comfortable enough with this. So now what I'm going to tell, so well, I mean, I'll let you decide. What do you want our character to say to our lady?
Oh, well, the lady's going to tell the man, hi, how are you? No.
All right, hey, that's good. You know, hey, keep it PG. Hi, how are you?
All right.
All right. So now, once we do that, but again, we don't want this to happen unless the character moves forward, unless we say yes and the character goes over, and you know.
Sure.
So right now, so we don't really want that on screen right now. So let's click on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to states,
All right.
and let's hide it.
All right.
So it is now hidden. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to our triggers.
Under which one?
Oh, actually, we're going to just go freely. So whenever you're not clicking an actual character, you can always just go to triggers and just click on this paper that says create a new trigger. So we're going to do an action. The action is going to be, we are going to change. So if you're seeing it, action, click on the drop down. We're going to change the state. And this also goes back to why we should also be naming stuff, and we didn't, so we might have to just, but it'll at least highlight some of it. So we're going to change the state of oval caption 1, basically how are you, to normal. I think it defaults for us, normal being visible. Now when we're going to do it, so clicking on when, we're going to click on when the animation completes.
Okay.
Stick with me for a second. Now the animation that's going to complete, let's click on the object that's going to be animated. That's clearly going to be our character 1. And that's going to be the animation of line motion. So when the line motion completes, that's when it's going to appear. So let's click OK. So, I mean, at this point, well, okay. One more thing then. Because I want this dot bubble, this finger bubble. I want this to disappear if we say yes, you know, because he's going to make the action.
Right.
So going back to a yes, so clicking on yes,
All right.
we're going to click on the trigger again, and we're going to say we're going to change the state of, find that cloud caption. We're going to change it to hidden when the user clicks yes.
Okay. Normal. When user clicks yes.
Oh, for this one?
Yeah.
It should
so
be.
The one we just did, so it was change state of cloud caption, normal, user clicks yay.
Yeah. Well, change it to, it should be, change it to hidden.
Hidden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because like it's a default state is normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so okay. Alright, got it.
Coolio. So, I mean, at this point, I think we should preview. So, just so we know what should happen,
Alright.
you know, he's going to say, hey, should I say hi to her? We're going to say yes. He's going to move over to her. Then he's going to ask her hi. And that bubble is going to also disappear.
Okay.
But just make it a little bit fancier, because remember how I like using the whole fade in and fade out?
Right.
For this whole thought bubble thing, if you have it clicked, I'm going to just have it fade in and then fade out.
Okay.
So that means that once we start the slide, it'll fade in, and then once we click yes, it'll fade out smoothly. And the same thing for this one. We don't want it to fade out, but we do want it to fade in. So, all right, well, if everything is done, then let's preview. So slide.
Yours first and see
All
if
right.
it came out. If it came out like mine. Or
So,
mine came out like
yeah.
yours.
So should I say hi to her? Oh, I actually had to fade out, so that's my bad. But yes, he goes over. Hi, how are you? So let me go back, because with this cloud,
Yeah.
I actually didn't want it to automatically fade out. So that's fine. But let's try it again now. So yeah, definitely unfade out your cloud. And then when you preview it again, so should I say hi to her? Yes. Hi, how are you? Simple.
All right.
Let's
And
test it.
preview mine.
Yep. Let's see.
Should I say hi? Yes. Ooh.
It
Hi,
worked.
how are you?
Fantastic.
Got it.
Okay, so now one more thing then. So you know how my character, she's looking kind of stoic, you know. She's not really looking too happy to to see our guy.
Right.
So I'm going to assume that she finds him fairly attractive, maybe. So I'm going to have her smile at him once he asks her that question. Okay. So clicking on her or clicking on your character, we're going to go back to that triggers in the paper icon. So we're going to change the state of our character to, and honestly, I'm going to make mine feel happy. You know, when you click on the drop down where under expression, you can have your character feel however you want them to feel.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to make her feel somewhat happy.
Okay.
So once you click that, they'll be happy when.
Animation complete?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, that actually could work.
Oh, no.
It could work.
It could work
Yeah.
after they say hi and they smile, but you want
Yeah.
it to do when they walk up.
Oh, well, I wanted to be when they actually ask the question. But you could have them do them when they walk by. That actually could work too. Like they seem walking from like a distance, like oh my gosh, you know. Or they could be like completely repulsed, you know. But so that actually could work.
Okay. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna use it when the actual state of like so when you actually click on state,
Okay.
you'll see how you can pick the state of like a bunch of different things. I'm going to pick the state of the oval caption, how are you?
Okay.
So I was going to click on when that turns to normal.
All right.
So like, I guess in the order of sequence, the animation completes, then the how are you comes up, and then she smiles at the actual question. But you're also right too, it also could be as he finishes walking. So it could be either way.
Okay.
So, but clicking on that, so this first way I'm going to do with the actual text bubble is normal.
Okay.
So I'm going to click OK.
All right.
So now let's preview it. Should I say hi to her? Yes. Let's see her expression. Hi, how are you? Okay.
You should say no. But we didn't put anything under no.
Yeah, we didn't put anything for no for
Okay.
now. So,
Let me do mine. Let's see.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, actually, let's actually do it your way for our character one, because our character one is kind of stoic himself too, right, or herself. So how about we put when the animation completes, we'll change his expression or her expression to, I don't know, talkative or whatever they have available. Okay. Yeah. So trigger.
Okay.
Change state of.
Character one.
Yep. To. Happy. Okay.
I put surprise on my other one, so he's all like.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. I'm gonna do talking.
So this one is what?
So, and this one will be when the animation completes. So,
Okay.
so as soon as he finishes walking, and the animation should be that same old line motion path.
All right.
Okay. So let's try it. Should I say hi? Yes. Hey! And they were married. And they lived happily ever after.
What's wrong with you? Silly. All right. Let me see.
Hmm.
See how mine looks. Okay. I always forget that I haven't pressed yet.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So now,
Cool.
coolio. Okay. Now, I think real quick, we could maybe see what would happen if you were to say no. Okay.
Okay.
So, Okay, so if we want to not have a if we want our guy to be a punk and not have the the courage to to say hi to our person, um, so one thing we could do, clicking on our guy
Okay.
or on our person,
Yeah.
we can go to edit
Character
states. Yep, character one, and we can at the bottom where it says timeline,
Yeah.
we'll go to states
Uh-huh.
and we'll go to edit states,
Okay.
and then we'll create a new state by clicking on that white page icon. And we'll say, I mean, it's whatever you want to call it.
State name.
Yeah, I'll say can't do it. That'll be the name of mine. Can't. So that's our can't do it. So now clicking on our can do it person. So just making sure that it's double clicked on it, or where you see it highlighted here.
Okay.
So we can actually go to character tools
Mm-hmm.
at the top, and we can actually let's change his perspective
Okay.
to looking away from her.
Okay.
So, and then let's actually change his expression to disappoint. Yeah. Disappointed or confused? What's it gonna be?
I'll put confused for mine.
Confused. Well, since you put confused, I'm gonna put disappointed, so we have two different. So, but we can also customize it some more. So for his pose,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So,
Oh, what happened? Oh, I don't have it highlighted. I was like, where did it go?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
arms crossed.
Okay. I'm gonna have mine. His arms are gonna be up in the air, like, oh my gosh, he's just gonna be just so upset. So once we're done,
So fun.
we're gonna click done editing state.
All right. Done editing state.
Yeah, and now you can actually see all your different states, right? You can see your actual normal one, you're talking, and if you hover over each one, you can see how it changes his look. All right, so now I actually want him to. So when he does turn away, well, I guess first and foremost, go into a no, and then I see add trigger.
Yep.
Let's add that trigger, and let's change the state of, you already know, our character one to state can't or can't do it when the user clicks no. Okay, so but let's actually add one more thing to it, because let's have him be just really bad, hard on himself. So let's create another thought bubble.
Can I ask you a question before we keep going?
Yep.
Why do all those no's show up at the bottom? What does it stand for?
So like for instance, if you whenever you actually click on it, like you can basically have like different states of it, like how you see this one with the little white background. So this right there could be like one where you can basically have it like if you were to say after you click on this button, the actual state turns to a down here. So basically once you click on the actual button, then it'll have that kind of white highlight, indicating that you already clicked on it, or that it was already visited. So these ones aren't the best example, because with the normal button, it's not much customization. But for different types of buttons, like if it's visited, then, or I guess the best example would be if you had like say three buttons that went to a three different lessons, and each time you have to click on one of the buttons, you want to let the learner know that you already clicked on it. Then that way the button would turn from the regular blue button to like say green or to yellow or to whatever button that indicates you already clicked on it. So then that way the learner doesn't get confused and isn't clicking on the same button over and over, going to the same lesson, or he knows what button still hasn't been clicked yet or visited. So all these are just different ways to, or for instance, hover. Like if I change this to real quick, if I change this to yellow, well, so go into a button tools and just go into whatever color you want. So now our hover button is now that. And then go into a visited. So double click on visited. And then same thing, go into whichever button you want colored. So, and then clicking on done editing state.
All right.
So now let's preview this real quick. So on mine, on hover, so when I hover over it, it's now purple. And that's because I changed the actual state of it to be purple.
Oh, okay.
And now when I click on it, so now my guide goes away, right?
Yeah.
But now it's now red. And so all this is just, so now why it's red and why it's purple is because going back to my states.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah. I mean,
not dumb,
it's
but
that, I
really
mean,
use it.
yeah, it's just one of those things where, again, it's what you said like earlier, where it can be very customized, or you can be very customizable,
Right.
where you're not really going to need everything, but it's basically, it's there if you want it. So, but,
I
so,
see now.
yeah. But before all that, so, what was I saying? So, I think you already clicked no to be associated with him turning around and being, disappointed or confused or what have you. But I wanted to actually say something. I wanted to actually think something to really be like hard on himself. So let's just create one more thought bubble, thinking bubble. So going
Done
to,
editing state.
yeah, then editing state, and then going to inserts and caption, and going to the cloud.
All right.
I'm going to just draw the cloud. I probably should give him more room for it. So I'll probably have to just make do with the space. Well, in fact, actually, like how you're seeing my cloud, I'm actually going to move it over. And why I'm going to move it over is because once you click on your character and go to your states, you'll see that this is the actual position he's actually going to be in.
They can't. Right?
Yeah, they can't. Yeah. So seeing that, I'm actually gonna, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to do some like predicting. So I'm gonna move my thought bubble a little bit over here because I know that when I go back to my character and his state, it's gonna be a little bit closer. It's gonna make more sense to it. So even though it looks a little overlapped, how it currently is, I know that once he changes his state, it's gonna be a little different.
Right, and then the should I say hi to him is not going to be there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So then going back to, so in that case, let's actually take care of that. So going back to the no button. So click on the no button and go into trigger.
Okay.
So let's hide the state of the, should I say hi? So change the state of, I think mine was cloud caption 1
Okay.
to hidden when the user clicks no.
Okay.
So then,
Oh, that is so tedious.
It
You have
is.
to remember all
it
that
can
crap.
be. So if you forget one thing, but it also teaches you how to like troubleshoot too, because once you do it
Yeah.
enough times.
True.
So last thing though, let's have our person in his confused or disappointed state. Let's just have him say anything. I'm gonna have him say,
Oh man.
"Oh man,
Oh, this fucking-
nah, hey,
Uh,
oh man."
can't believe I did that. Can't believe it.
So last thing,
Should have said hi.
so two more things we're gonna do. We're going to turn this to a hidden slide because we don't want this showing up just yet. So go into states for the all man or for your cloud, and we're gonna go from normal to hidden.
All right. The all man.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a triggers, and we're going to change the state of all man to normal when. So going to change state of cloud caption 2. And again, that's why we also label things just so that, But the good thing is it does at least highlight it. We're going to change it to normal when, and this is going to be different, when the state of our character is well, mine was can't do it.
Okay.
So going to when state, you're going to find your character, so you might have to scroll down a little bit.
Can't do it.
Yep,
Character 2 or character 1
yep,
can't do it.
yep.
Okay.
Looks like that?
Flagged. I'll just do not have selected state. Oh wait, sorry. I had
Oh.
character 1.
Yeah,
No, I had character 2 done. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Got it.
got it? All right, cool. And then, okay.
Okay.
So I think then this should do it then. So let's go to preview.
Alright.
right, here's a moment of truth. Should I say hi to her? No. Oh man.
That's so crazy. All right.
So try it on yours.
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where's the fucking preview button?
Top right, maybe.
I know, but it's okay. Never mind. Got it.
Got it.
Okay, no. Okay.
It does it?
worked. Yeah.
All right. Well, one thing then. So one
But it
little.
didn't fade. Is it supposed to fade out after a while? Or is it supposed to stay?
It's supposed to
there?
stay, yeah.
Okay.
So you good.
Cool.
So one minor thing we're gonna do is for our character, for our second person. You know how we had the person react when they said hi to her, or for mine. Well, if he turns away and he isn't gonna say nothing, then I'm gonna have her change her expression to something like really, like you're not gonna just say nothing. So, so I'm gonna click on my character, on my second character,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go to a trigger.
All right.
And I'm going to change the state of my character
Change state as character 2.
to what do you think? So if someone was about to say something to you, but they just turned your back on you, disappointed? Shit, I'm gonna have mine be angry.
Angry.
Like really?
Okay. Angry.
When the state of that character 1 is, yep, you got it now.
All right.
So let's preview it. So let's see what she looks like. Should I say hi to her? No. What in the world? Like this dude right here.
Like seriously? Look at mine. He's like screaming.
What? There you go. Hey,
Violent.
look, I think you got the hang of it. And then too, on that same previews thing, you can always replay it. So if you wanted to try, that first option again of saying yes and then having the person go up to them.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so now, good job. You have now created your little interaction where the learner now dictates how these characters are going to treat each other.
Okay.
So, and use that using about 4 or 5 different, so the state changes,
I mean,
the
that takes
triggers.
a whole lot. That took a whole. Well, you were explaining
Yeah.
it to me, but I could just picture taking like forever.
Yeah, the very first time you do it, it's going to take you maybe like it took us like maybe 53 like an hour. First time you do it, it'll take you about an hour. But like say for me to like do this, I'd probably do this in like 5-10 minutes though. But that's because I've been doing this for like 3 years.
Okay.
So like, so this it seems it does seem a little and it is tedious actually. But the more the actual quicker you are, the more you've done it, then it's more like okay,
Yeah. It's
bam,
like
bam, bam.
everything. Yeah. The more you get used to it, it's like.
Yeah, imagine someone trying to do a cheaper for the very first time and
Yeah.
not knowing where everything is versus you, and all of a sudden you just super fast. But still, so this right there is in a nutshell.
Got it.
So
All right.
let me
It's a lot of
just
stuff to remember too.
yeah, it is.
Like you have to just like a cheat, you have to
Mhm.
constantly be trying to do it, or not you're gonna forget.
Mm-hmm.